stop caring. Marcus Aurelius's indifference rule explained all right. Let's get real. Every single day, we are bombarded with things that beg for our attention, people's opinions, endless comparisons on social media, the pressure to succeed, and the constant noise of what we should care about. We're told to hustle harder, to impress others, to achieve something meaningful. But let me ask you something: how much of this actually matters? How much of what you're stressing over today will you even remember a year from now? 5 years? Or better yet, when your life reaches its inevitable end? This is where Marcus Aurelius steps in. He's the Roman emperor who ruled the most powerful empire in the world. Yet his greatest legacy wasn't his military conquests or political power, it was his philosophy. His journal, now known as Meditations, wasn't written for anyone else. It was a private reminder to himself on how to live, and within those pages lies one of the most revolutionary ideas you'll ever hear: most things in life are not worth caring about. Wait, what? Don't care? That sounds reckless, maybe even apathetic, right? But it's not. Marcus wasn't telling us to stop caring about everything. He was showing us how to care about the right things and free ourselves from being enslaved by the trivial. Think about it: how much energy do you waste worrying about things you can't control? How often are you consumed by what others think of you, or by chasing goals that aren't even yours? Marcus Aurelius's indifference rule is a weapon against this mental chaos, and it begins with one profound truth: you are in control of your mind, and nothing else. Here's the logic. Marcus believed that the world is filled with events, people, and actions that fall into two categories: things you can control and things you cannot. The things you can control are simple: your thoughts, your actions, and how you respond to the world. Everything else, it's indifferent, it's noise, it's outside your power. Let me emphasize this: the opinions of others, the outcomes of your efforts, the weather, politics, even life and death itself, none of it is truly within your control. And here's the kicker: if you can't control it, why let it control you? Imagine how much freer you'd feel if you stopped caring about things that don't belong to you. Let's break it down. You're scrolling through social media, and you see someone living the life you think you want: fame, wealth, a perfect relationship. You start comparing. You feel inadequate. But Marcus would remind you: is this within your control? Is this comparison helping you live a better life? No, it's not. The truth is, what that person is doing has nothing to do with you. Your worth isn't diminished by someone else's success. Their life is outside your control, so why waste your energy on it? Let me ask you this: how much of your mental and emotional stress comes from things you can't control? Think about the last time you were upset. Was it because something didn't go the way you planned? Because someone didn't treat you the way you wanted? Because you didn't live up to some internal or external expectation? Marcus would say, stop. None of this is yours to worry about. The indifference rule teaches us to separate what truly matters from the noise. It's not about becoming passive or emotionless. It's about reclaiming your power by focusing on what you can actually influence.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Here's a practical way to apply this the next time you're faced with a problem. Ask yourself 2 questions. First, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't fight it, don't fuss over it, just let it pass like a cloud in the sky. Second, if this is within my control, what action can I take right now? Focus all your energy on that action and nothing else. This isn't just philosophy, it's a way to reclaim your peace of mind. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about the big stuff? My career, my relationships, my health. Aren't those worth caring about? And the answer is yes, of course they are. But even within those areas, Marcus would remind you to focus only on what you can control. You can't control whether your boss likes you, but you can control how you show up at work. You can't control whether someone loves you back, but you can control how you treat them. You can't control whether you'll live to be 100, but you can control how you take care of your body today. The indifference rule isn't about ignoring life, it's about living it with clarity and purpose. Here's the ultimate question Marcus Aurelius would want you to ask yourself: am I wasting my energy on things that don't matter? Because here's the truth: your time, your attention, and your peace of mind are your most valuable resources. Every moment you spend worrying about something you can't control is a moment you'll never get back. Every ounce of energy you give to someone else's opinion is energy you could be using to build the life you want. Marcus's wisdom isn't about indifference in the sense of apathy, it's about prioritizing what truly matters and letting the rest fade into the background. So I'll leave you with this: what would your life look like if you stopped caring about everything that doesn't matter? If you let go of the need to control the uncontrollable, to please everyone, to achieve some perfect vision of success, what would be left? The answer, I think, is freedom. The freedom to live a life that's truly yours, guided not by the noise of the world, but by the clarity of your own mind. The freedom of letting go why caring less creates a better life. Let's take this deeper. What happens when you actually stop caring about the things that don't matter? At first, it might feel strange, like you're neglecting something important or not doing your part in life. But that's just the old you talking. The truth is, letting go of what you can't control isn't neglect. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. It's saying, I will no longer give my energy to things that drain me or distract me from what I can actually influence. And here's the mind-blowing part: when you care less about the noise, you start living with more focus, more peace, and more power. Think about it. Most of us live our lives as if we're carrying an invisible backpack, and every day we fill it with more weight: other people's opinions, worries about the future, regrets about the past, and the endless need for approval. By the end of the day, that backpack feels impossibly heavy. But what if you started unpacking it? What if you stopped carrying things that don't belong to you? This is exactly what Marcus Aurelius's indifference rule is about: lightening your load by focusing only on what's truly yours. Let me ask you, how often do you say yes to things you don't actually want to do? Maybe it's agreeing to a plan because you're afraid of disappointing someone. Maybe it's taking on extra work because you're worried about what your boss might think. Maybe it's pretending to care about something because everyone else does. Every time you do this, you're giving away a piece of yourself. You're letting other people's priorities dictate your life. Marcus would tell you, stop. Your time and energy are finite. Don't waste them on things that don't align with your values. But here's the catch: letting go isn't easy. We're wired to care about what others think, to seek approval, to avoid conflict. It's a survival instinct that's hard to shake. But Marcus Aurelius invites us to rise above this instinct. He reminds us that the opinions of others are outside our control, and therefore they're irrelevant. What truly matters is how you see yourself. Are you living in alignment with your principles? Are you acting with integrity? Are you focused on what you can control? These are the only things worth caring about. Here's a powerful exercise to try. The next time you're faced with a choice, whether it's how to respond to criticism, whether to say yes to a request, or whether to engage in some petty drama, ask yourself this: will this matter in a month? In a year? At the end of my life? If the answer is no, then let it go. Don't give it your energy. Redirect your focus to something that truly matters to you. This simple question can help you cut through the noise and prioritize what's meaningful. Now, let's talk about failure. One of the biggest things we care too much about is the fear of failure. We're so terrified of making mistakes. of looking foolish, of failing in front of others, that we hold ourselves back. But Marcus Aurelius understood something profound. Failure isn't within your control, it's just an outcome. What is in your control is your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to keep going. He believed that if you've done your best, you have nothing to regret, no matter the result. So why care about failure? Why let the fear of an uncontrollable outcome stop you from living boldly? Here's another question for you. What would you attempt if you stopped caring about failure? If you weren't worried about what others might think, or whether things would work out perfectly, how would you live your life? Would you take that risk? Start that project? Speak your truth? When you let go of the fear of failure, you unlock a kind of freedom that most people never experience. You realize that the only thing that truly matters is whether you're living in alignment with your own values. Marcus Aurelius's indifference rule isn't about detachment for the sake of detachment. It's about making space for what truly matters. When you stop caring about what you can't control, you're not giving up, you're clearing the clutter so you can focus on what's meaningful. You're giving yourself permission to live with clarity, courage, and purpose. So let me leave you with this thought. What could you create, achieve, or experience if you stopped caring about the things that don't matter? Imagine the freedom of living a life where your energy isn't wasted on trivialities, but fully invested in the things that bring you joy, growth, and fulfillment. That's the life Marcus Aurelius envisioned, not a life of apathy, but a life of extraordinary focus and intention. And it's yours to claim if you're brave enough to let go. Mastering yourself, the power of emotional discipline. Now that we've explored the freedom that comes from letting go of what doesn't matter, let's address something deeper: our emotions. Because even when we understand the logic of Marcus Aurelius's indifference rule, it's not always easy to put it into practice. Why? Because our emotions often overpower our reason. We know we shouldn't care about that rude comment, that failed plan, or that moment of rejection, but we still feel angry, hurt, or embarrassed. So the question is, how do we stop our emotions from controlling us? Marcus Aurelius believed that emotional discipline is the key to living a free and meaningful life. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means understanding them, mastering them, and refusing to let them dictate your actions. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that. Your power lies in your ability to choose your response, no matter how overwhelming the situation feels." Here's where it gets interesting. Marcus taught that our emotions don't come from the events themselves, they come from our judgments about those events. If someone insults you, it's not their words that upset you, it's the meaning you assign to those words. If you fail at something, it's not the failure itself that hurts, it's the story you tell yourself about what that failure means. And here's the good news: if your emotions are created by your judgments, then you have the power to change them. So, how do we do this in practice? The first step is awareness. When you feel a strong emotion, anger, fear, sadness, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I telling myself about this situation? For example, if someone criticizes you, your initial reaction might be anger or defensiveness. But if you dig deeper, you might realize that your emotion comes from a story like, "They don't respect me," or "I'm not good enough." Once you identify the story, you can question it. Is it true? Does it really matter? Is it worth your peace of mind? Next, Marcus would tell us to focus on what we can control: our actions. No matter how you feel, you always have the power to choose your response. This is where true strength lies, not in controlling the world around you, but in controlling yourself. When you stop reacting impulsively and start responding thoughtfully, you take back your power. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you mastered your emotions instead of being mastered by them? Imagine the peace that comes from not being triggered by every insult or disappointment. Imagine the strength of being able to face challenges with calm and clarity. This is the kind of life Marcus Aurelius envisioned, a life where your mind is your ally, not your enemy. Living with purpose, caring only about what truly matters. Now that we've explored emotional discipline and the power of letting go, let's turn to the most important question. If we stop caring about the things that don't matter, then what should we care about? Because Marcus Aurelius's philosophy isn't about detachment for the sake of detachment, it's about clearing away the distractions so we can focus on what truly matters. And here's the truth: when you stop chasing everything, you make space for the things that give your life meaning. So, what did Marcus say we should care about? In his view, it boils down to this: living with virtue. Virtue, for him, wasn't some abstract moral concept. It was about aligning your actions with your highest values. It was about being honest, courageous, kind, and just, no matter the circumstances. He believed that living virtuously is the only thing that's fully within our control, and therefore, it's the only thing truly worth caring about. Think about it: external achievements, possessions, and even relationships all depend on factors outside your control. You might work hard, but success isn't guaranteed. You might love someone deeply, but they might leave. You might try to protect your health, but illness could still strike. None of these things are completely in your hands. But your character, your principles, how do you choose to show up in the world? Those are entirely yours to shape. Let me ask you something: what kind of person do you want to be, regardless of your circumstances? This is the question Marcus Aurelius would have you focus on. He understood that life is unpredictable, and many things are out of our hands. But no matter what happens, you always have the power to act with integrity, to treat others with kindness, and to face challenges with courage. This is where true purpose lies, not in controlling the uncontrollable, but in living in alignment with your values. Here's a practical way to apply this: start each day by asking yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? Then, throughout the day, hold yourself to that standard. When faced with a difficult situation, ask, what's the virtuous thing to do here? When you focus on living with integrity, you stop caring about trivial things because you realize that external outcomes don't define you. What defines you is the person you choose to be. Marcus Aurelius believed that when you live with virtue, you gain something far more valuable than success or approval: a sense of inner peace. You can look back at your life without regret, knowing that you stayed true to your principles. So I'll leave you with this: what would your life look like if you focused only on what truly matters? Would you live with more purpose, more clarity, more freedom? That choice is yours to make.